ESPN baseball analyst Eduardo Perez during SportsCenter, where Eduardo could hardly contain himself. And I immediately said, let's invite him on the show. So not only for all of us here at the Rich Eisen Show, but on behalf of everybody at the NFL Network and NFL Media Group, want to extend condolences to the Fernandez family through Eduardo Perez, who joins me here on the show right now. How are you, Eduardo?
It's a tough day, Rich. Thanks for having me on your show. It's been a tough 48 hours for the Fernandez family, for the Miami Marlins, for the city of Miami, and for all of Major League Baseball and the extended family of sports. NFL Network, Rich, thank you. It's unbelievable. I woke up to the news, and 50 minutes before I went on with Hannah, and again, very difficult to hear that he passed. And when I had to tell my parents that Jose was gone from a boating accident, it just absolutely broke my heart listening to my father's reaction. I had never heard a no so emphatic from him, the strongest man I've ever known. It was a no that dropped me to my knees, and it dropped him to his knees and the rest of the Miami Marlins. It's been very difficult for all of us.
So what did, Eduardo, what did Jose mean to the Cuban-American community from your father on to everyone else?
Oh, wow. For those of you that don't know what the definition of a Cuban-American is, it's a struggle. It's persevering. Just think about having to leave your country, your island, and not being able to go back, and knowing that it's an oppressed society, and knowing that you do whatever you can from the mainland or from wherever you are in the world, if it's Spain, Mexico. Cubans have had to find exile all over the world in search of freedom. And Jose was the epitome of all of this, attempting to leave three times before the fourth being the successful journey. But in that journey, his mom falling off the boat when he's 15 years of age, and without he even thinking and knowing that it was his mom that fell off the boat, you got to understand there's a lot of people on this boat, and she was the one that fell off, and they said man overboard, and with no hesitation, he jumped in the water in the dark of night to save this person. And when he grabbed a hold of her, he realized it was his mom. What 15-year-old does that? And he was living every day, the 24 hours, he was trying to live them like it was 48 hours in a day, trying to catch up on the 15 years that he missed in Cuba, learning the language, being successful, trying to give every Cuban American and every baseball fan and every person that he touched the time of day, listening to them, trying to get better. And when you think of a Cuban American, you think of the perseverance. And I know I was not the only person that was touched by Jose of my age group that had to call a parent and let them know that Jose had passed. But I speak on behalf of all of us. I can say this is a very, this is a tough loss. And we're all family. We might not be blood related, but we're all family, and we understand what each of us has gone through, with what our grandparents went through, what our parents have gone through. And again, I was in Cuba at the beginning of the season this year, and I really got a feel of what an oppressed society is all about. And it's tough. It's a tough loss. It's a tough loss for all of us.
Eduardo Perez joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. And your compadre, Dan Lebitard, wrote in a very moving column in the Miami Herald, and that was the lead paragraphs was him calling his mom, who had, lost a little bit of faith in the Marlins system, but Jose Fernandez had brought her back to the stadium, and just how moving it was for him to call his mom and tell his dad, who we've seen on TV many times. So it's interesting to hear you say the same thing, that you calling your dad, Tony Perez, and your mom and saying what's going on. It really is very moving, Eduardo. I don't even know how to put it into words here.
Rich, Jose used to go to my parents and play dominoes. My dad was like, let's go play dominoes, and he was so competitive. I mean, he'd be in there playing dominoes with old men. He was an old soul. He got along with children. He was a kid when he played the game, but he also got along with people of advanced age. And it's just, I'll tell you one thing. This is hard. It's no more is there going to be a Jose Day. And Jose Day in Miami meant that everybody would get together early in Versailles restaurant or in any other Cuban restaurant, and they would talk about how many strikeouts was Jose going to give you, how many innings was he going to pitch, was he going to shut out the opposing team, what was he going to do after a strikeout, what was he going to do offensively. People paid to go see Jose Fernandez, the show, and he rarely disappointed. Only twice, 2 losses in Miami, disappointed the fan base. A fan base that the stadium's in Little Havana. I mean, what a perfect scenario for this kid to continue playing throughout his career, try to bring a championship to Miami. And unfortunately, he won't live to see that.
Eduardo, I know, again, this has been very tough for you and all your friends and family members and everybody that Jose Fernandez touched. But I just, again, wanted to get you on to say my condolences. And I want to get you back on to talk baseball during the playoffs, okay?
Got it. And I'll pass the condolences on to his mom, Maritza, and his grandmother, Olga, when I get back to Miami. My parents were with them yesterday. Mm-hmm. I know it's tough, but thank you for having me on.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. That's Eduardo Perez from the Worldwide Leader in Sports.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.